welcome to a brand new episode of Discovering Doctor Who. I'm Papa Ken, and today I'm going to be covering the two episodes, The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances. Now, just in case you can't tell, my little bow tie is kind of blending into my shirt here, so I'm probably going to have to get a different one so it stands out more against these dark colors. But anyway, that's besides the point. Getting into these two episodes, obviously I'm going to talk about them both as a whole, since they're one storyline. And I really liked these two episodes. Easily some of the best writing that has happened all season so far. It was written by Stephen Moffat? I'm going to go with Moffat. Anyway, he's the one that wrote the episodes, and for those of you that may not know, I'm sure you do, but he is the writer of the very popular, or increasingly popular, show Sherlock on BBC. By the way, if you haven't watched that yet, do it. It's only 2 seasons long so far, and 6 episodes. Each episode is an hour and a half long. Watch it. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. Anyway, another sidetrack. There's just so much I really enjoyed about these two episodes, with the Doctor and Rose being redirected by this strange space debris traveling through the time stream, I think it was, and the Doctor wants to chase it down because it's a particular color. Apparently we humans, even though we, consider red to be this color of emergency or danger, I think it's mauve? That's supposedly the actual universal color for emergency or danger, according to the Doctor. I'm probably way off on the color there, but I think mauve sounds right. Yeah, anyway. In this episode, we are introduced to a character that a few of my friends have mentioned being very excited about me discovering, and that is Captain Jack Harkness? I'm really bad with names tonight. But Captain Jack, who, in his personality and the way he looks, the best way I can describe him, if you haven't seen him yet, is that he reminds me a lot of a young Tom Cruise, only a lot taller and not quite so psychotic. But yeah, that's pretty much the best way I can describe him, because he's very confident, very suave, just like Tom Cruise was back in the day before he had to try really hard to look really young like he does in his current movies. Out of breath there. But yeah, the character is very interesting. Turns out to be a former time agent, I believe it is. I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember all this off the top of my head. Yeah, he's a former time agent turned con man, apparently. Tries to con Rose and the Doctor, even though he's actually trying to con other time agents. Yeah, it's a strange little situation, but because of what he does, he actually ends up bringing a very strange plague to World War II era London. And that's where a really cool part of this episode comes in, because, there have been some creepy moments, some very strange moments in previous episodes, but in these two episodes, I feel like it's probably the first time where a real sense of dread was brought about, or a very creepy feeling. Because I wouldn't even call it the main villain exactly, but this little child that has been sort of possessed by this alien force, but because he's dead, has been brought back to life. Essentially, he's just walking around all the time and has this gas mask on his face. And all the character ever says is, "Mummy, Mummy, are you my mummy? Mummy?" And it's, at first it's weird, very strange, because Rose sees the kid way up high. She tries to go save the kid because she's worried he's in danger. But as it goes along, there's just this increasing sense of dread, and whenever you hear "Mummy" coming from somewhere, like, you literally don't know where it's coming from. It could be the kid alien thing outside of a door. It could be coming through a radio. It could be coming from, like, literally it could be right beside the characters on screen and they don't even know it until, it's too late. Very interesting. And as its sort of disease, or this plague of sorts, carries on and it starts to infect other people, it's kind of silly at first, because you see all of these adults with gas masks on and they just start going, "Mummy, Mummy," and that part's a little bit weird, but then it takes a turn for the creepy again when some of the, I wouldn't say maybe best CGI in the show so far, but the first time you see someone transform from their human form into a replica, essentially, or a clone almost, of this kid, with the scar and the mask and everything, the first time you see this mask come out of the human face, it's, I don't know if terrifying is the right word, but it's very disturbing because, I mean, it's just the way it comes out. Again, bad CGI or not, it's just a very disturbing image just to see, a person's eyes suddenly turned into these lifeless glass, whatever they are, part of the mask. It was just, I really like that. And it brought into the end of the first episode there, where the Doctor, Jack, and Rose are surrounded by all of these clones, going, "Mummy, Mummy!" And of course, the problem there is if these things touch them, they will turn into one themselves. And that's how the episode ended, and that was a really good cliffhanger. Luckily, I didn't have to wait a week or however long the episodes usually take in order to get to the next part. And the way they started that first episode, before the credits even rolled, was brilliant. I gotta give kudos to Stephen Moffat and Christopher Eccleston, the guy that plays the Doctor. Just like it was done brilliantly. The Doctor just looks at the kids and goes, "Go to your room," like in a very matronly or a very authoritative voice. "Go to your room." Just says it over and over. And all the creatures with this mindset of a little boy obey. It's like all the ones that were surrounding them go back to their beds. The original little boy walks off from where he was. I know this may sound confusing if you haven't actually watched the episode, but people that have seen it know what I'm talking about. But and then the line right after that, when it's all done, he says, "I'm so very glad that worked. That would have been horrible last words." That was the perfect way to start the episode right after this crazy cliffhanger, which is like, oh crap, they're screwed. That's probably my favorite part of these two episodes. It's filled again with very good writing, very good scenes, but that was I just absolutely loved that part. And after that particular scene, I was just like, all right, I'm set. Bring it on. And the Captain Jack, he starts to sort of put his moves on Rose, whether it be through the con or apparently maybe sort of feelings he starts to develop for her. It's hard to tell, but because of that, we start to see the relationship between Rose and the Doctor develop even further. And on one hand, the characters, and even some of my friends have commented on how, the character Rose, who I believe is 19, yeah, it's mentioned in the episode Dalek, she's 19, and the Doctor obviously looks quite a bit older, but you start to be able to get a feel for this very loving relationship. Whether it's romantic or not is still a bit questionable. Not much, but a bit. But it's obvious that they love each other, whether it be through a platonic means or, again, some romance there. But whatever it is, the relationship continues to develop in so many ways. And I just really like that. Just the entire dynamic of it. Again, people that have watched the episode know what I'm talking about. If you haven't watched the episode yet, first of all, why are you listening to me? Spoilers, obviously. But yeah, I really like that development. Stephen Moffat just does such a good job with the characters here. And really, I mean, I keep mentioning him. It's like, the balance of everything in this episode is great. There's that creepy factor that wasn't there before in the episode. The way the characters are written. The humor is so good. And before they even realize, or before the Doctor realizes that he's back in World War II era, it is World War II, right? Yeah, World War II. And he goes into this place trying to look for a large bomb that fell out of the sky, or a large object that fell out of the sky. And he goes up in front of all these people and they start laughing at him, and he's just befuddled. It's like, why are you all laughing at me? And it's because he doesn't know he's in World War II. Just that realization of, me as the audience watching, and watching the Doctor slowly, it slowly makes sense to him. That was such a well-written, funny scene. And again, there's so many others too. It was just such a great, it was great 2 episodes. I still don't know how it ranks overall for me, but it just really good, really good. There's another scene that I was wanting to talk about that I found particularly creepy and really well done. One thing that wasn't so creepy, the whole part of the final episode, the Doctor dances. That was another part of the developing relationship between Rose and the Doctor that I really liked. Because right there at the end, the Doctor had started to dance with Rose, and they got interrupted because Jack came on the TARDIS. But Rose says, I can't remember the exact lines, but essentially, Rose says, I think Jack wants this dance, and the Doctor says, I bet he does. And he takes Rose along with him anyway to dance, and I really like that aspect, because not only is there a potential romantic relationship developing there, but also the Doctor is showing that he might be getting a bit jealous, further developing that possible romantic relationship. I keep saying possible, it probably is. As much of a deal as people make of Rose, overall in this series, I'm sure that it gets romantic or whatever, but considering this is Eccleston's only season, I don't know what's gonna happen. But, okay, I remember, I'm so sorry I'm jumbled-minded today, folks, but going back to that part that I found particularly creepy, and I really enjoyed, was when, I believe her name was Nancy. Yeah, the woman in the episode, or the girl, lady in the episode that the alien child, mummy thing, keeps following around. She's with this group of kids that she's been helping out, trying to make sure that they're fed. And when she finds them, she tells them that she's going to have to leave. And the kids don't want her to, obviously, because it's because of her that they're able to find food. Whether they're stealing it, but still, it's because of her that they're able to actually get fed. And there's a scene where one of the kids is typing on a typewriter. Well, he can't write, but he's using it anyway because I think it was like he was writing out a letter to his parents. I can't remember, but as the scene continues, you continue to hear typing. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together that the kid that was typing is now sitting beside one of the other kids that's talking, and Nancy points out, who's typing on the typewriter if he's over there, and the typewriter is typing by itself, and it's just another one of those really creepy moments that you have to watch it to get the full effect of. It was just so well done. It was tiny elements like that can make a really good horror movie. Now, obviously, this is not a horror show, but I know a lot of horror movies that could take some lessons from these 2 episodes alone to really up the horror factor. Like movies like Insidious and Sinister, great movies. They pulled this stuff off very well. Well, maybe not the last part of Insidious, but that's beside the point. I really appreciated that, and again, just, hats off to Stephen Moffat, if I had a hat. It's just really good. And, folks, that's really all I have to say. I enjoyed the new character. I like where this is going. I'm excited to see what happens next, because I think, I want to say I'm within, 3 or 4 episodes of actually finishing this first season, and I can't wait to see how it ends up. I really want to find out how this resolves, and I want to see, what trouble Jack is going to get into now that he's with Rose and the Doctor. Is he going to be like Adam and just be another one-off character? From what people tell me, apparently not, but I don't know. They could ditch him after this episode, and then he shows up here or there afterward. Hard to say, but I'm really looking forward to finding out. And again, I'm really excited, and I'm glad to have this consistent happiness and this consistent, wanting to see the next episode. Whereas before, admittedly, it was back and forth, especially with that episode with Adam being a douche. But again, besides the point. Well, everyone, thank you very much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed my little review here, and I'll see you next time for episode see you next time. I gotta work on these outros, and again, I still need to shave, although it is sexy. Later.